you are going to fight, you are going to win the governorship. Trust me, you might not get your second term because you are not in power. Those people will come for you. Wike that is talking today, if not for the grace of God on his side. These guys were meant to unseat him the other time in his elections. It was a tug of war. Do you think if PDP is not in power, these people will not come, they will not repeat what they did to Wike? Will the next man have the strength and the tenacity to withstand that storm? And you know what they will throw at the next River State governor? So if you think you are going to do that, all of them with that mentality, I think they will install a PDP person in River State and they will sabotage this. They are doing themselves. They won't, like, and bet them they won't last one tenure. The APC will come from them and sweep that state away from their hands. This is a winner-takes-all system that we are running here. So if some people want to be foolish, let them be foolish, and they will pay the price daily. It's not just Atiku that will pay the price. It's every one of us that will pay the price. So this is a warning to all of them. And I respect Anthony Ehileba and his submission concerning this issue. And we are telling those that are having this thing in their mind that they should search their hearts very well. What is in it for them? I mean, whatever thing you are doing, you must do it in the national politics of the APC. Nothing. I believe in one thing. I would rather my brother that I'm quarreling with comes into power or has a thing than for somebody that I have no connections with to be there. Because who knows? Midway, I and my brother can settle and I will begin to enjoy the benefits of that thing. Rather than sabotage my brother and decide to work for an unknown entity. So they should not be out of foolishness and just decide to do things and say, oh, because they are angry. Yes, you can be angry, but you don't need to be foolish. The most important thing is the presidency, and that's the ultimate prize in Nigerian politics. So everybody, whether you are angry, you are vexed, you are whatever, keep that aside. When we cross the finish line, we'll deal with all of these things, and everybody will be happy at the end of the day. Everybody is guaranteed to be happy once we get the presidency, no matter what your grievances are right now, except you don't believe we can get the presidency. But once we have that, every other thing, everybody will be happy. You can be sure of that. And having that at the back of your mind, then everybody that is nurturing this ambition of saying I will sabotage, then you are a foolish man.
I personally think that Governor Nyesom Wike, true to his word, is going to work for the party. I think he
will do that. He doesn't have a choice.
No, I think he just enjoys being in the news. He enjoys being in the media. And I mean, the removal of IU is really a conversation that comes after the election, because as of this day, the president, we don't have a president in PDP. What we have is a presidential candidate, and I think that conversation is invalid, the removal of IU, and I think all of this is just to keep him...
He doesn't even have the power. They are pushing for the impossible.
Yeah. Well, moving from the political scene, let's look at what's happening with the legal issue with ASU and the federal government. The ASU has gone to court, and they've gone to appeal the suits that the federal government actually was rejoicing over just day for yesterday, they are chasing them back to the classroom. But what looking at it, that ASU has gone to appeal. Are we looking at, like I asked earlier on, that this is going to be an issue that's going to affect students and their parents more. Now, ASU is back to court. If peradventure federal government wins on this, are we looking at another strike coming after the judgment?
You see, the federal government, I don't know what exactly they are doing. You cannot beat a child and tell the child not to cry. Let's assume that they decide to follow this through to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, okay, ASU should go back to the classroom, and there is mass resignation in the institutions of the nation. Do you think you have ready-made lecturers? Yes, I know. Foolishly, many of them would think, oh, there are people out there that can come and teach. But I mean, you don't breed professors in one day. The knowledge many of these guys have, that they are still impacting, even with the little things that are provided to them, they still manage to bring out graduates that stand tall when they go outside this country. You're not going to have those breed of professors. Already we have a deficiency right now because the best are not even in the academia anymore. So if you lose these guys, we're already suffering brain drain. Our doctors are migrating. These are some of the loyal people we still have that are saying, okay, fine, let's put our best to see that we bring up the next generation. If you force them to the classroom using the courts, and many of them decide to say, well, I'm done. Because majority of these guys, they have jobs outside easily. They can have jobs outside easily. So if you think you are going to find people that you just employ from the crowd to come out, then you have killed the entire system. So the federal government should be very careful with what they are toiling with. I would believe that they should make this a priority rather than taking this process of going to court and all of that, because they feel maybe they have one way or the other to influence the court and twist them. You can twist them, but you can't force them not to drop their resignation letter. And because that is where it's going to end up in, many of them will resign. And when you lose your best brains, you have practically killed your educational sector. So the federal government should be very careful. They should go back to the drawing board. As difficult as it is, if they make this thing a priority, tell them what you'll be giving them, how you'll be doing all of these things, how you'll be paying for all of these things. And stick to it, for goodness sake. Stick to it. The month that you cannot get, you are unable to provide, make them understand why you cannot provide for this month or why they cannot get the maximum allowance for this month. Everything is about dialogue. Everything is about that. You see, this military mentality thing we have in this country is a very big problem. I don't know which generation will be able to come that will be totally divorced of this military mentality, that everything must be by force, by dialogue, for goodness sake, dialogue. If the country is having a financial issue, make these people to understand this is what we are facing right now. Yes, we're supposed to be paying so and so monthly to you. Call the leadership before it gets to that strike period. Make the leadership understand why there will be a shortfall for so and so period. People are not crazy, for crying out loud. Just discuss.
Sorry, you just mentioned something about the shortfall. Just 3 months or thereabouts, 8.6 billion, 8.65 billion was released to the headsmen. And still, what we have in the news currently is that there's no money to pay ASU. Now, one would beg to ask, what exactly is the priority of the Buhari-led administration?
Priority, you just said it. Priority. We have misplaced priorities. ASU, some people I've heard people say, ASU zone is too much. ASU zone, what you mean by ASU zone is too much? You hear the amount they used to pay for kidnap victims and all of that. When you hear all of these outrageous amounts, and we are telling people that are clamoring for decent and reasonable issues to take the back seat, you want to explain to those ones why you cannot meet up. But when it's for stupid things that don't make sense, things that actually you've budgeted money for, to the military or and to all the security agencies to take care of, and they are failing in it, you have to make an extra budget to help cushion all of those things by intervening to solve issues that they were supposed to have prevented from happening. You are not telling the ones that are crying for reasonable things that will sanitize the system, that will help to develop, grow the system, to take the back burner, that they should understand why miscreants that are running around our bushes, no, they cannot wait. You are so swift in carrying money to go and settle those ones. But these ones that are the fabric of our society, the brains behind our next generation, the road to our success out of this quagmire we found ourselves. You said they should take the back seat. Misplaced priority.
So we're actually running out of time here, but before we close, let me quickly ask you this. Elijah AtikuLive have said this in different forums, that education will actually cure insecurity. Please, just on a quick one, what do you see to that?
Of course, that is a statement of fact. The problem we're having right now is lack of education, the lack of education in a particular sector of the country. I've always said this thing, not being biased towards that sector, not because but it's a statement of fact. My father went to school, and some states were considered educationally less developed states. I went to school. I experienced cut-off marks and all of that, with priorities given to certain states as educationally less developed states. My children today are going to school. They are still going to, at what point in time in our society will these states be seen as educationally advanced states? Can't you see we have a problem? This is the problem we are facing. We cannot do without education, because education is the key to our society. And these are the issues we're having, and it has gone far into our elections. Now you hear politicians even brag about it. When you talk, they say, oh, Twitter is an intellectual platform. So you are glorying in the fact that there is a massive sector of people that cannot read and write, that you can just tell all sorts of rubbish, brainwash with whatever, with tribalism, religion, and all of that. They love it that way. So you see, some of these things are just deliberate acts. And I just hope we can have a sensible government that can tackle all of these educational issues, which must come to the front burner, because this is our way out of the backwardness that we're currently experiencing in our nation.
All right, Mr. Sonny Okoro, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Mr. Sonny Okoro is the coordinator for Greater Urhobo Initiative and the spokesperson for Rethink Nigeria. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the show, and hope next when we'll call you, you'll be here with us.
Oh, no problem.
I'd like to thank you also for staying with us. This is the much that we can take today. It's Friday, so we'll see you next week. Do make sure to follow us across all our social media handles displayed on your screen right now. Till we meet next week, I am Ijoma Udumudu.
I'm Ikoku Chidozie. Bye.